We are back. Episode 33?
32.
32.
32 of the BSG podcast. We're here at a special place. I almost said Noonan. Highland Country Club with our guy Chase. We'll get into that in a minute. But first, as always, this episode is brought to you by 18 Birdies, the number one app on the phone for all your GPS and yardage. And there's a link you can check it out and go get it free, the free version. And then there's a premium version that we love. So go check out 18 Birdies. But we'll get into our guest right here. As we said, we're at Highland Country Club. You played out here a couple times?
Played out here several tournaments. Nice layout, tight fairways for high handicappers.
Like us. So first we'll get in our guest. So it's Chase. Oh, got some guests coming in. He's the pro out here. Usually Brady does some research to find out more about, but Brady's not here. So will you tell us a little bit about you? I guess your time here, and then we'll go into
getting into golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been here for a year now. Just turned over a year. History of golf, and I've kind of been all over the map here the past couple of years. I played golf at Anderson University in Anderson, South Carolina, all 4 years. Missed one tournament there. It was my one tournament of my freshman year. After I graduated from college, I turned pro. I spent about a year playing amateur events still, and I turned pro, and I played on what was called the Peach State Tour back then. So it was stationed in Atlanta, so a lot of tournaments in Atlanta, this area down here, Peachtree City, just kind of all over Georgia. And I did that for a year and a half, 2 years. Just like anybody trying to make it these days, it's a tough life.
Yeah.
Traveling, money. So you start running low on funds, and you realize that you've made a little bit, but you haven't made enough. And that's kind of when I decided I was going to get in the real world and start working. And I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do with life? Well, the only thing I've known is golf. This is what I've done my entire life. So, I started going through the process of getting PGA card from PGA of America. A couple seminars later, got it done. Been working everywhere. So, one of my first jobs was down in Savannah, Georgia. Was not there very long. It was a good old boy public track, great people, but I didn't fit in. And I left relatively very quickly. I was 8 months there, and I went home. I was caddying out at Sage Valley for 2 weeks, and I got an offer at Westlake in Augusta. So I worked there for a gentleman named Kirk Heiss, who actually is in Idlehour, Macon now. Really great guy, taught me a lot, and I worked for him for 3 years. From there, I went to Mountaintop up in Cashers, North Carolina. I was there for a season, so they do a little seasonal gig where you kind of work summer there, then go down winter in Florida or something like that. And I think I was 29 years old when I was making moves like that, and it's just too old. I was like, I got to find a full-time job again. So I got lucky and landed in Columbia, South Carolina, a golf course called Forest Lake. Worked for a guy named John Winterhalter there. Awesome guy. Taught me a lot, just like Kirk. And spent about a year and 8 months there, and got a phone call from a buddy of mine at Tuscaloosa, Lake Oconee. So if you're in Georgia and you know that golf course, it's absolutely brilliant. You got John Tillery out there, great teaching professional. Got a lot of good names under his belt. And, I was there for a year. I knew I wasn't going to be there very long, and then obviously ended up here last November. So I'm very privileged of where I've been.
Well, welcome to the area. I know you're one of us now. So with John Tillery, he's a big name. We follow Foreplay a lot and see who they with Trent and Kisner and them. Did you work much with Tillery?
Not really. I mean, he travels so much these days you rarely see him. He's got 2 young kids. They should be good golfers one day. I'd be surprised if they're not. They work hard at it. But he was there, you kind of hang out with him. More or less, it was just kind of hanging out as friends late at night, over at somebody's house with a bonfire going on. Great guitarist. Nobody ever know that about him, but he could play the guitar. But it was kind of cool, Ricky Fowler would come around every now and then. Roberto Castro's a member over there, so he'd hang out. So yeah, a lot of big names, and you never realize it. Kevin, I knew Kevin because I'm from Aiken, South Carolina. I don't know him very well. Him and Scott Brown, I know him enough to say hey, and they know my name. But whenever they were in town at Tuscaloosa, that's definitely want to stop by and say hey to him.
Do you ever get starstruck? with some of the guys who come around, or is it just a business?
I'd say the biggest name that I've played golf with, I played golf with Zach Johnson up in Mountaintop.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, a two-time major champion right there, that's
King of practice swings, too, by the way.
Exactly.
Do you think it's intentional at this point? Is the way he's hitting that ball like that on the practice swing? It's got to be intentional.
I mean, one of the best iron players I've ever seen. I mean, we were on the 10th hole, and it's a par 5, and he hits his second shot in the water next to the green, pulls out another ball, drops her right there, and hits it to 2 feet, and it's just like, okay, nice par. Like, okay. But, I mean, yeah, the first couple holes, very nerve-wracking. But after a while, you just kind of start talking to them, and you're not talking golf. You know, maybe favorite golf courses. Hey, dude, what's your favorite bourbon? What kind of music do you listen to? And then you kind of get out of it and realize, well, this isn't really that bad. I'm just playing with a regular guy.
Was that pre or post green jacket for him?
Oh, that was definitely after. So, yeah, I had the opportunity to ask him what his favorite golf courses is. You know, he's a big fan of, I believe, St. Andrews or Carnoustie, one of those two over that way. You know, I asked him what his favorite tournament was, and believe it or not, he actually told me the Wells Fargo up at Quail Hollow. He said it's just the way they treat the players up there. So they do a really great job. And it's funny, I got to caddy for Vaughn Taylor back in the day during a Pro-Am on a Wednesday. And they do. I mean, the caddy house, the whole shebang. I mean, the food setup for everybody is just brilliant. So they know how to treat you up there. So with you you did the whole trying to make the tour. What do you think that what they have in place now with giving people the stipend after missing the cut and stuff, that's going to help players that are wanting to chase some dreams, help grow their game? Do you like what they're doing, the PGA, with that? I agree with it completely. I think it's awesome. You know, I've always said, you know, the way they got it now is you go out there on the Korn Ferry Tour now. You finally get top 25. You get on the PGA Tour. Well, what happens if you miss every cut and play 20 events that year? Well, you've paid all this money to play in the events, but you've made nothing. Yeah. So I said, well, why not just take $100,000 or $150,000, give it to them for qualifying for the tour, so at least they've got a salary for the year. You know, whether they miss a cut or not, you know.
They still have the same expenses with the caddy and food and lounging and travel.
Exactly. So, you know, it's all a revolution. You know, things are changing. Obviously, inflation in the world, you know, I try not to pay attention to it because I'm just a little lonely golf pro over here, but it's around you. So the golf world's starting to adapt. LIV has a big role in that. I don't know if that's going to be one of your questions, so I'm not trying to jump into it.
No, are you for or against, or just it's there?
You said no gotcha questions, and then you can ask him.
No, the LIV
was good. Yeah. Tiger had a bold statement on it today.
Yeah. There's always going to be the bold statements from those guys. Am I for it? No. Am I against it? No. There's a world for it. I would have liked to seen a little bit different things. I would have loved to seen them get a little bit more involved with women's golf. You know, I've had the personal privilege of knowing several of those girls out there and playing a lot of golf with one in particular. And the unfairness there is different.
It's pretty similar to all sports, though.
Exactly.
All professional sports and even college.
Exactly. I mean, I don't disagree. I don't agree completely with it. Let's be equal and all this stuff. I mean, obviously the fan base has a lot to do with money and things like that. But, you know, I'm starting to see, you know, over the past year, a lot more sponsors get involved with the LPGA Tour. Yeah. And I think that's what's going to help. I would have loved to seen the LIV get maybe involved in that as well, just to maybe just push it a little harder, have some growth, maybe some team play. I mean, I know they're not couples, but
right.
So do you like, this is one of my questions that kind of encompasses that, do you like where the sport of golf is right now, or the direction it's heading?
You know, it's been crazy with COVID. You know, I remember I was in Columbia when everything shut down. It was a week, nobody was coming out of the golf course. I may have seen 20 people. So then it's kind of like, well, am I about to be out of work, and what am I about to do? And then, you know, Governor McMaster comes out and says, oh, well, golf is an essential deal in South Carolina for strictly mind purposes, you know, the state of mind. And so, you know, it's kind of funny. He's a member out there, and his son played out there, so is he doing it for himself? No, that wasn't the case. It really was a mind thing. I mean, you're outside, so why did it matter? Yeah. So then you see the boom. And I mean, we were budgeted at Forest Lake for 24,000 rounds that year. I think they ended up playing 30.
Oh, wow.
So, like, holy crap, when nobody's leaving their house, we're doing more rounds. How does that work? So the golf itself is booming. So I think that, you know, from my aspect, looking at it career-wise from where I'm at, yes, I think we're in a great place. Do I think there's room for improvement? Yes. I mean, junior golf is huge. And I think the PGA world is really trying to capture that with all the junior leagues and things like that nowadays. The Family Cup that they just came out with a couple years back now, they're really trying to push it. So where does the tournaments go for the bigger guys now? Are we still just doing the same things every single year, or are we going to evolve? Are they going to evolve a little bit more too? I'm interested to see that from the boom in golf over the past couple of years, how the string effect here in the next 10 to 15 years, what happens.
I'm with you. I would love to see, and I've heard this, there's some guys I watch on YouTube called No Laying Up, and they're big advocates for the LPGA. I would love to see almost a major type where a PGA player and an LPGA, you pick a partner, and and you play together a whole major round. Like I would love to see that kind of stuff, like you're saying, just the combine. I want to go kind of back. We heard the history, but how did you get into golf? Like, did your dad golf, or did you grow up golfing?
You know, it's always a funny story there. You know, I asked my parents, you know, I've been playing golf my whole life. As soon as I could stand up, apparently I wanted to hold a club in my hands. So, you know, I had the privilege of being at a private golf course growing up called Highlands Country Club. And, you know, we lived literally right down the road. I could ride my bike up the street with the golf clubs on the back, and I did that a lot. But apparently my mom would take me up there as a baby, and I'd sit there and watch my dad, and I wanted to be like my dad. I wanted to play, I wanted to hit a golf ball. So that's what happened, and that's, you know, how I came into this sport. Yeah, you play a lot of sports growing up. Who doesn't want their kid playing every single sport they can? I never dabbled in basketball. I mean, I'm 5'10", so what am I going to do there? I never dabbled in football just because I never got into it. But man, I swam. I played baseball, tennis, golf. You know, about 8th grade, you really had to make a choice. Well, what are you going to do? Well, baseball, I kind of got a little burnt out. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to concentrate on golf. From there, it was, well, what do I want to do with college? You know, I'm a huge Clemson fan, South Carolina boy, so gotta be a Clemson fan. I know, great upset last weekend. Good job, South Carolina. But you know, that's where I always saw myself going to school, and I just didn't quite push myself in high school like I should have. You know, I went to a private school for high school. That probably kept me out of a lot of things too. I wasn't in that public atmosphere, getting pushed by other people better than me. But you know, about my junior summer, I really started playing some really good golf, and finally started getting some offers. I won state my sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school.
Wow. Dang.
We may be in trouble. That full man.
But in private school, they mix all the levels together. So you got single A, double A, and triple A all there together. Yes, they still do the divisions as far as statewide, but when it comes to state itself, as far as qualifying for, you know, all state teams and stuff, everybody's combined. So my junior year, I actually did make all-state team. I finished 4th at state overall, and I mean, I was playing against some good guys. I mean, Trip McAllister, he went down to Coastal. Jacob Berger, he went to Clemson. So I had a lot of good guys. You know, Wesley Bryant was my age. I played against him in junior golf.
I love the Bryan Bros.
Big fans of Bryan Bros. Know both of them. Good guys. You know, I hate it for him, but that's a whole different conversation. I would love to see him back at it again. But, you know, so you got to think my graduating class was all of that.
Uber competitive.
Yeah. So where was I going to go in school in the state of South Carolina? Nowhere, because all the spots were taken. And this is back before the recruiting changed, 3 years ago now? You can't recruit until they're a junior in golf. Shoot, I mean, Wesley was committed his sophomore year of high school.
Oh, wow.
You know, Jacob Berger's junior year, Tripp is beginning of his junior year. So, yeah, all the spots were taken. So, no, I found a school that I really liked, Anderson. You know, Danny Neal's up there is a great coach. They're number 1 in the nation right now in D2 men's golf. They won all 4 events this year. Didn't expect that.
Wow.
I'm sure they didn't either.
Yeah.
But they're doing well. So I'm very happy with what way I've progressed in life.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Do you think, real quick on the Brown Bros, George is, when I watch this video, he's really good. Is Wesley that much better than him? Or
This is a funny story. George is older, so I didn't play a whole lot of golf with George. I didn't play a whole lot of golf with him until basically when I was on the mini tour and afterwards. I played a lot of golf with Wesley, and we'll watch him win a lot of tournaments.
Mhm.
Watch him shoot under par. I mean, I watched him shoot 66 on a broken leg.
oh my
I
gosh.
mean, he's walking around with a cast on. And I'll never forget, it's Sherall State Park, Sherall Fall Challenge. I think it's in October every year, and he's walking around with a cast on. Or maybe his ankle, but still, I mean, shoot 66.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he's that good. Was his brother better back then? Maybe.
Yeah.
Did his brother have just as much competition? I mean, you had the Bowden brothers back then. So
Yep.
Jonathan and Daniel, they're both coaches at what is it? You up there, UNCW, I think up in what is that? Just in the coast of North Carolina. So yeah, I mean, the state of South Carolina, when I was coming through and above me and just
Big
below
time.
me, big time. So that was a good thing about being at Highlands too. We had a lot of good juniors,
Mhm.
a lot of competition out there. Matt Naismith. I don't know if y'all know that name yet. I mean, he's been on the PGA Tour 2 years now. He's doing well. I mean,
Yeah.
he's finished top 10 several times already. He'll win one eventually. But he played in 5 PGA Tour events before he turned pro, including the U.S. Open. I mean, he went and shot 61, 63 to qualify for Chambers Bay.
Oh,
in
wow.
sectional. 61, 63.
That's ridiculous.
Won by 2
to think
in
about putting those
sectionals.
numbers up.
I mean, yeah, it's just so that's when you kind of realize when you're playing on the mini tour, if you can't go do that
Yeah.
just randomly or
Yeah.
just
That's what
always,
you see the stuff online. It's like so and so shot 69, 68, 67, still didn't make the. You're like, man, how good are these guys that you shoot in the 60s and you're still not finishing the top 3 in the mini tours?
They had the guy last year that shot 1 bogey for the whole,
Oh yeah, didn't make because of
whole
that.
weekend and didn't make the cut.
That's wild. So you got to be pretty much those mini events. You got to be playing perfect golf almost.
Yeah. And then you're not going to win much money.
Yeah.
So your mini tour events, you're going to come home with $2,000 to $5,000.
That's travel
you
expense.
Just paid $1,000 to get in, and another $1,000 in travel and all this other stuff. So no, it's a tough life. But if you get used to winning, and you win a couple, and you go do a Monday qualifier and get into a Corn Ferry Tour, or you go out there and you get through Q School, which is not easy to do either. Then yeah, you've got a chance. But I mean, just taking my buddy Matt for example. He did Latin American Tour, didn't do anything down there. Then went to Canadian Tour, didn't do anything there. Finally got through to 3rd stage of Q School. Finally got a couple starts on the Corn Ferry Tour, won enough to kind of keep going, and then towards the end of the year, finally wins one.
Oh wow, that's all he needed.
That's all he needed. Now he was on the PGA Tour.
And that confidence level is totally different. He's like, I'm here to win.
But now you have the pressure of once you're on PGA, don't you have to win an event or finish in the top, be in the top average to continue that, right?
Yeah, you got to finish. What is it? Top 75 for full status, or maybe it's top 100. I've done forget how it works now. Top 70. Let's just say it's top 75 full status. Okay, you can play in every event. You maybe not U.S. Open or British Open.
Yeah.
You might still have to qualify for those. Definitely not the Masters. But you got the PGA Championship. You got basically all the big tournaments. Wells Fargo, for example. So yeah, you got to win enough money to do that.
Yeah.
You got to get enough ranking to do that. The other problem is when you're that low guy on the totem pole where you're getting the crappy tee times, you're playing with the other crappy guys, and I'm saying crappy as in I mean actually
Right.
mean it.
Yeah.
I just mean compared to comparison to other your major guys, but you work your way up. Then it's basically groups. You got A, B, C, D groups. Well, if you're in that D group, you're getting the crappy times.
Yeah.
You start
6
working your
a.m.
way
tee
up.
time.
Yep.
It's pitch black.
Pitch black
Cold.
still. Cold.
So much dew on the ground, the ball don't roll out.
So with you being from South Carolina, have you played Aiken Golf Club?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Recently this video we just watched on it was basically the design, the history, and the story of it. And I was like, that's a course I want to go, because I think that was it Don Ross came out to look at it, and he was like, well, if you have the courage to do it, you can do it yourself. And is it McNair?
Jim McNair owns it now.
Yep. He ended up just doing it himself. Him and his dad came out there and helped him out. But I was like, that's a course we need to get out to, Aiken Golf Club. Is it? Well, they'll go to my next question. What we can go 2 to 3 hours. Best course that you would recommend within 2 to 3 hours of us right here, or that you would go play if you had one course to play.
Whew. Man, I've been blessed to play a lot of great golf courses, especially within a couple hours of here.
Anyone we can buy our way on.
Buy your way
Because
onto.
the private ones are hard to get on to.
Yeah.
Making your way back over to Lake Oconee, playing any Reynolds course, you've got a really good setup right there. I haven't played Planterra Ridge in a very long time. Played in a mini tour event, but I heard up there in Peachtree City that's looking pretty good right now.
I played Planterra once. I got with a member brought me on. That's the only reason I got to play it.
There's a lot of good golf courses in Atlanta. I mean, you got both Ansleys setting down and Ansley downtown.
Have you played the Stone Mountain courses? Right on
Yeah.
the edge of the mountain?
Yeah, I played in a pro there with a buddy of mine named Jacob Tilton. We played it. It's funny, we always play terrible in place. I would love for us to finally put our games fully together one day and see what we can actually do, because we'll probably blow everybody away. But it's a fun layout. Now, you got 36 holes up there, and I couldn't tell you which one we played, but it's tight, it's hilly, but it's open in some holes, and the greens are just normal greens. I played it at the beginning of the summer this year, so it was rock hard from no rain.
Oh, wow.
So the ball was rolling out 100 yards down the fairway.
That's what we need.
Man, if you can make your way over towards Chateau Alon area, I don't know, I might be reaching out. No, that might be a 2-hour drive. That's a pretty good golf course. It's got a little, mirror image of some major championship holes.
Oh, wow.
I see Mr. Short Game on YouTube.
Oh, he's over
Chateau Alon. He reviews like the facilities.
Oh, yeah.
He always says, "This is what the shower is like."
I'm like, bro, I don't.
Odd spot. I shower at home.
Is with you. We're wanting to play. So we just went to Texas a few months ago and played some courses. But our next trip, we're thinking Myrtle Beach. Is it up to the hype, or is it?
Oh, dirty Myrtle.
Oh no, that's all I needed to know right there. Are we better off saving up a little more and going to North Carolina, Pinehurst, and doing the courses?
Pinehurst is a treat.
It's historic.
It's historic. It's always going to be good. You can't miss out there.
So is Myrtle that bad?
No, I mean don't. No, there's a lot of great golf courses out there.
Is it too touristy though? Like if we go and it's just.
It just depends on the time of year you go.
Yeah.
You go in October, you might catch it in a great time. Some people really like going in October. But you're battling either cold and windy or perfect and whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm taking a trip to Sea Island next Monday and Tuesday, and it's going to be perfect weather. It gets, 70 degrees on the board. Whereas I went to Vegas for a Pro-Am a couple weeks ago, and it rained on Tuesday, and it was 50 degrees the other 2 days. So I'm getting better weather in December at Sea Island than I did in Vegas at the beginning of November. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But, it's hit or miss. So I don't know. I'd just be careful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go during the summer. Too hot, too touristy then. But
that's all we need to know.
Everybody's on vacation.
How often do you get to play 18 holes? Get out there. Do you play 18 or you just go play 9? And
I try to play with the membership here every Sunday. Sunday I kind of feel like it's my day off. You never really have a day off as a golf pro. So I come out here. I'll check in with my shop girls, and then I'll go play. I'll get 9 holes in every now and then during the week, but Sunday's usually my day. Do I play as much golf as I used to? No. I'm kind of getting over the hump of, man, I'm not competitive like I used to be. I'm not trying to play competitive like I used to be. Do I still like hitting range balls? Yeah, it's more of just a relaxation kind of thing nowadays. But it's just it hit or miss. Depends on the week.
So if you come out to Highland and you put your game together, what are you shooting?
It's like I tell the guys when I play with them on a Sunday. If they want to sit here and try to give me a plus handicap, I'm like, guys, I can go shoot 66 or I can go shoot 76. It's just like, what? I don't know who's showing up today. Yeah.
That's still good numbers to be between 66 and 76.
Do you still enjoy the game the way you did when you were chasing?
Oh, I think I always enjoy the game. I've always said if I don't want to ever pick up a golf club anymore, then I'm not going to be a golf pro.
Yeah.
I'm going to find a desk job somewhere. And, that's the whole reason I'm here. So I can look out the window and still see some green grass. But I still have not fully felt like I hate it. I have my times where I'm just like, man, I just don't want to do it right now.
It's just work.
Yeah. But it was work when I was playing competitively.
Right.
Yeah.
You wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, get dressed, go to the gym, come home, get dressed, shower, get dressed, go to the golf course by 9, spend 4 hours on the putting green. Next thing you know, it's time to eat lunch.
It's a full work day.
Eat lunch, grab a basket of balls. I mean bucket, I mean basket. You got 1,000 golf balls right there, and then you just grind. And then find some time to play 9 to 18 holes before the sun goes down. And that's what it is. So, I laugh at people who think, these guys on tour got such a great life. They're making so much money. Dude, no. They work their
daily
tails off.
So if we end up getting the 4-man versus you playing, do you think you have that switch you can turn on to get back into that competitive mindset? Or have you done got to that enjoyable?
It's going to depend on the day. I laugh at Kevin Kisner. Kevin Kisner, he could probably drink 16 beers and win every tour event out there.
Yeah, I've seen him in the Barstool Classic with Riggs as his partner. They were up till 1 or 2 in the morning drinking, and Kisner goes out there and shoots.
Starts drinking on the first hole.
Starts shooting ridiculous. I'm like, what in the world?
You take your mental game out of it. You know, when you just go out there with no care and just swing away.
Have fun with it.
See, when you go from, like me, for example, when you go from competitive golf every single day, week in to week out, tournament this week, 3 weeks later, another tournament, things like that, and then you get out of it, and now you just barely hit golf balls. You barely play. You don't know where the golf ball's going to go. Yeah, you still got some good shots in there. Yeah, you can still pull off some stuff, but that one bad shot's got you thinking the rest of your round. What am I doing? So your anxiety kicks up a different level now, and that's my struggle. So
we always talk about it because now we play so many scrambles that when it's time to play solo, it's so much pressure.
It's just easier to film as a scramble because it's quicker. And then that one round we're like, all right, we're not filming today, we're just going to play for fun, and you hit a bad shot, and you're like, oh, I got to play that shot now. I can't just go play.
Ooh, what are you going to do over there by yourself?
Yeah, so mental, that's a big one for us, mental. Well, do you have any questions? I've got one I want to end with.
No.
Well, really 2 I want to end with real quick. One is lowest score ever. What's that for you?
I shot 64 right before I left Tuscaloosa.
Oh, wow.
You can look at it either way. I mean, Tuscaloosa's par 70, and I've shot 66 6 times, and I just never could break it. I mean, I made a 2 on a par 5 on the 16th hole, and then almost holed out on the next hole for a hole in one, and shot 66. It's just like birdie putts on 18. I just seemed to miss it.
Yeah.
But I had 6 birdies, no bogeys at Tuscaloosa, and I thought that was pretty darn good because Tuscaloosa's not an easy golf course. So I'm gonna take my 64, and I'm gonna say thanks.
Yeah.
How many albatrosses do you have?
I just have that one. I got 4 hole-in-ones now. I made back-to-back hole-in-ones. That's a funny story.
Wow. That's one of my next question. So I was going to ask how many hole-in-ones.
I was on the 17th hole at Westlake, and I kind of hit this little thinner 9 iron. It just kind of kicked in. And then I didn't play golf the next day, and I went out to Woodside with a buddy of mine the next day after that. And the first par 3 we played as the 4th hole on the I think we were playing the Cup course that day. I make another one, so it's just like, okay, well, par 3, the next par 3 I play is back to back. So I've always said that the only thing I'm missing is a hole in one on par 4, and then I can just quit golf because I got everything else.
That'd be worth it. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and you can check out all the episodes. Hopefully we can get a 4-man scheduled and maybe not lose. I hope not. But check us out, Apple, Spotify, YouTube channel. Thanks again. Go follow Chase, all his stuff. And if you're in the area and you can get out here with a member, check out Highland Country Club. I've been able to play it once in a charity event. I loved it. Just once. It was pouring down raining. So really?
Yeah, I know most of the layout now without.
We're different tax brackets, so he gets a different
event. Charity.
Oh, charity.
All the charity tournaments always find a way on the course.
Well,
not as the ringer, but as the comedic relief.
That's all the team needs. Well, we appreciate it. See y'all next time. See ya.